In this session we're going to have a look at our workflow in Frame. This is a little bit different to how we normally operate using cloud-based technology, and also how we may use a desktop or a laptop. When using Frame, we're using a virtual server, and therefore we're using our browser to look at another machine. And all the operations that we do is actually run on that virtual machine, on the other machine, not on the machine that you're using to control it. So we have to look at how we can actually upload and download files effectively and make the most out of the virtual machine and the power of the virtual machine that we're using. So I'm going to use Visual Studio as our example. Notice that the green light is on. You know, if we click on here, it gives you an idea that green, the system's ready. If it's orange, it'll be ready shortly. And if it's red, the system's offline. So just be aware when that's green, you're ready to go. You would have already connected your Google Drive and set that up, because that's how we're going to be transferring files to Frame and back again. So let's go into Visual Studio. Every time we use Frame or a new session of Frame, it's actually a brand new computer. So all our previous session information or setup or layouts will be lost. So it's like using a new computer every time you use it. And therefore my toolbox is already tucked away and I need to pin that out again, etc. So first of all, I'm going to start a new project. I'm going to select Visual Basic and Windows Form Application, and I'm going to give it a name called Workflow. Now this is just an example. Now I need to browse and save where I'd like the files to be. Therefore I'm going to use Documents. So I'm using the virtual server itself. So where it's got this PC, it's not actually my computer, it's actually on the Frame server, on the Framed computer that it's created for you. And I'm going to create it here, and I'm just going to go Select Folder. So my work's going to be created in the Documents folder on that server. So if I just drop out of this session and don't download what I've created, that'll be lost when the session's deleted. So I'm going to click on OK, and it's going to open up a new application for us and create all the files on the virtual server. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my toolbox. I'm going to pin it out again because, like I said, all previous information's lost, and I'm going to click on Common Controls. If you need to open a previous project, you go over here and click on Form, and we'll do that very, very shortly. So I'm just going to put a label out there, or I'll just put a label, and I'm just going to call it Workflow. So I'm going to head down to the label text and call it Workflow, and I'm just going to go up and just change how that looks. Now once again, I've got to adjust my panel sizes. So every time I open a new session, this is what's got to happen. I'm just going to click on the fonts. I can then make it bold. I can then increase its size and click on OK. So this is Workflow. So when I run the application, it will do this quite happily, and you can see my application is working fine. But once again, as I repeat, it's on the server, not on my computer itself. So when I'm finished and I want to save my work, besides clicking Save All or Save, or going into File and clicking on the Save All again in here, so once I've finished working, I then need to go up and click on Close Solution. This closes the whole project down. So it's like I've left now and that project's finished. You don't want to upload and download while you've got the project open or a database open, because it can leave open files or unresolved files, and this can cause errors when you go to open it up again. So make sure you close out of the application you're developing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and go File, Open, and I'm going to go Project Solution, because what I want to do now is take my files off the server and put them onto my Google Drive. Now I've already got connection to my Google Drive. This should be already established. If you don't have that, go down to the Google Drive image, and it should actually, when you click on that, say that you're connected. If not, connect to it. Once you've got that F drive, what you can then do is go into Documents. You can now see the folder called Workflow. In here is all the project files. So everything I need for that application I was just developing. So what I need to do then is grab this, drag it over to Google Drive, and let it go. So I'll just do it again, over the Google Drive, and let it go. You see now that in the drive it's actually got Workflow. One of the things you'll notice though, when I head into Google Drive, no, I want to stay at the moment. I'll just open up a new tab and open up my Google Drive. There should be a new folder created in here, which should be called Workflow. But at the moment we can't see that. It can take up to 15 minutes for that folder to refresh in here. But what we need to look at is what happens when we're in Frame and we want to get the work back. So what I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to click on my Google Drive, and you can see the workflow folder there. And this time I'm actually going to drag it to the, say, the picture folder. You notice that that's blank. So I click on Google Drive because I want to now open the project. I click on workflow and drag that into pictures and let it go. Now I have a copy of it in pictures. So when I go in to open up the work, you can see the SIN file there. I can click on that and go open, and this will now load my project up. Even though Google Drive hasn't updated yet and you can't see it, like I said, it could take up to 15 minutes, I can still download, upload the files. And then I can come over the side here, click on Forms, or double click that. That'll open my workflow up and I can now see it again. So making a few changes on how you use your computer with the virtual server can improve your workflow and your success in class. So remember to close your project down before copying it across to Google Drive. And then when you want to start a new session and retrieve your files, go to Project, Open File, drag it back to a folder on the virtual server and open it from there. A small change in your workflow habits will ensure that you maintain your quality of work and not lose any files.